My name is Ilona, and today I'm going to speak about beyond the limitation of frontend onto full-stack journey. Let's introduce my story to you. I am fully occupied with the frontend the last 2 years, even 3 years, I would like to say. And a few months ago, I started working in the startup and joined a new team that was consisted of 2 full-stack engineers that were more experienced than I, more competent than I, but however, I think I'm a good asset for them. Why actually our team was created? Because we wanted to start because we have to start a new project in the company. So, as you can imagine, we have to define the architecture, the structure, technology stack for a new project. So, in the end, we had a lot of to do. And I actually, as a front-end software engineer, was out of the front-end tasks. So, my team lead asked me, Ilona, you see, now it's a good opportunity actually to learn the backend. Would you do that? So then I thought about it and I think, really? So now it's the beginning and I can do some of the tasks. So I decided to transitioning from frontend to full-stack engineer. And other things, I have also another motivation because I always think about what is going on the backend, what's the magic on the backend, and why does it take some time to get some response from the backend, and I would like to understand the topic deeper. Then I was lucky, and I joined a startup. I joined to a great team. So actually, I started my journey from work because I'm working on the project at work and also have some backend tasks. Moreover, I also started my side project. And so you see, actually, it's a good way to learn backend development and transitioning to full-stack engineer. So, why? Of course, I was motivated to do that. I'm pursuing some goals. First of all, it was I want to understand and get server-side and client-side programming. Secondly, I want to challenge myself. I want to learn new things. And also, maybe it's because of the course of knowledge. I want to challenge myself at the end. And the last but not least, I would like to share my knowledge with others and inspire other developers to transitioning and to increase their specialization. So what I have learned so far? I started my journey, as I mentioned before, maybe 3 or 4 months ago. So I learned how to use database in the project, how to configure PostgreSQL scheme, also how to create a table with the records to store the data, and last but not least, actually, how to connect the database to the backend application. Also, I learned how to implement backend application. For example, how to list it on the port. Another side, actually, how to add some structured backend logs, and also send back. And another thing is to, so here is it, and also to manage the credentials, and for example, also configure backend application. So here it means hide or show, for example, some features. Also, I learned how to create API. So here, I have learned how to design put, get, put, post, delete sources. Also how to response from the backend with a successful or error code. And another thing is actually how to read the data from the database and how to write the data to the database. Last but not least, I also learned how I can authenticate the user. So why do I need cookies? For what server-side session? And how to use third-party services, for example, in Auth0 to authenticate and authorize the user. And now you see actually there are a lot of advantages being full-stack engineer. So first of all, full-stack engineers are in demand for hiring. And company always looking for full-stack engineer and give some advantage for them. Another side, full-stack engineers are highly specialized and can deliver end-to-end project. Also, full-stack engineers know all process of all development cycles. And another thing, full stack engineers get also a lot of career options and could choose so what the kind of the work they would like to do. And even more, of course, it sounds sometimes a skeptic, and now actually you have your opinion about, so should you do transition to full stack engineer or not? But there are another advantages of that. So here I want to listen them. First of all, is result blockers. I can speak from my experience. So, for example, if you are working on the project, if you are working in the cross-functional team, and if you are especially in the beginning, and if you are stuck with some task from the front-end side, and because of the bug maybe on the back-end side, then you should ask back-end developer that the back-end developer actually resolves this problem, and you can continue with the front-end tasks. Otherwise, I mean, you need to switch to another ticket. You will feel maybe have some emotional disbalance because, okay, I don't contribute and it's bad. If you are a full stack engineer or you have some backend knowledge, in this case, you can unblock yourself, fix this bug, and not only contribute to the backend, but also in front-end side at the end, and you'll satisfy with the results because you did a great job. So working remotely. Here I would like to expand and highlight one of the advantages that could be for freelancers. So of course, if you want to pursue the career in freelance, you should be full stack engineers. I mean, full stack engineers or developers. And also, so not all the people prefer to work from the office. They maybe have some physical or mental discomfort and prefer, for example, and especially if the company don't have home office policy. And in this case, you would prefer work from different places, for example, from home, from cafes, from libraries, or even from the different cities. So, and here I want to provide the link to the Nomad list. I really inspired of these websites. This site you can find the cities and with the information about the cost living, weather, and budget you need to have to live, for example, for a month, per monthly. Another advantage is that actual full stack engineers are valuable and professional. So here I mean if you are not full stack or maybe in the beginning of your career, so it's okay if you will change some jobs, I mean, or even try to work in different companies in different positions and etc. But if you are full stack in general generalist, and you have this this opportunity to choose where you're going to work and actually be always in demand by the company. So also you can level up your career, so you can become an anchor of the team. So I mean, you know all the context, and another context of the project, and also could help other people in the team. So, for example, if one of the team players is stuck, and etc. Even you could be promoted to the tech lead or team lead because, well, you have more chances for that because you have more expertise. Another thing, you also great problem solver because you already have faced a lot of challenges on your way, and you see some of the pattern. So, and will be a nice asset to your team. Also, it's well-paid job because you have more job opportunities. You can choose where would you like to work, on which company, and what the kind of work you prefer to do. So, in general, median salary rate is bigger too. And here, according to this table that I took from the pay scale compo 2017, as you see, not depending on your professional level, as it's low, medium, or upper. So, the median salary for full stack developers are higher. Last but not least, I think, and in my opinion, from my experience, that full stack engineers are quick learner. So here I understand, so you can learn any framework, any library faster than others, because as I mentioned before, you have already solved a lot of problems, and you understand, maybe even know many technologies at the moment. To this moment, and also adapting your stack to the project. It's also really important, and it could be good. But we shouldn't forget about the over-engineering, because if you are adding a new library or new framework to your project, you can actually increase the complexity of the project. And that's why simple things should be simple and complex things should be possible in the end. So, and the next advantage is you can also create your or start your own project startup. So if you are thinking about some ideas, or you have some ideas to implement your project, or maybe you want to test your idea and to see the results, maybe you could have lack of knowledge because you're specialized in one field, for example, front-end. So I'm speaking from my experience. So in this case, you need the help from the others. And it could be cost money, and not only your time and effort you're putting on that. So, and if you're a full-stack engineer, of course, you will know how, so you can understand and the whole process, and you can test your idea on your own. You can get to get the result, or maybe do the experiment, and in the end, it will not cost you too money, maybe only time and effort that you put on that. Last but my favorite, my favorite advantage is technical answer. So, and the first milestone actually is bring more value to end user. Here I'm provided some charts. So here you see the two rows. So here I presented some developers with more, with 2 years or more than 5 years of experience in a specific specialization like the front-end and backend. And let's speak about the end user. So what the end value we actually can deliver to the end user. So for example, if the team you have the front-end developer with experience more than 5 years, and you have a back-end developer with expertise or maybe almost 2 years or maybe a little more. So in the end value it will be like the team would have the team value would be close to the backend specialist. So actually, you can deliver in the end less value that you could do with the whole team. With another backend developer would be more experience. But let's see another graphic, another diagram. So here you see we have a team that consisted of the three developers, and one of them is full stack. And actually, you have the same situation, but with a full stack engineer. So at the end, we can deliver a bigger value because full stack engineer can cover some gaps. I mean, even as a backend engineer, so in this team cannot solve some task, full stack engineer can help and fill this gap. The value for the end user would be higher. Another thing, if you are expert in something, you actually can start with blogging and vlogging. Share your knowledge with others, maybe your opinions, maybe about your approaches, maybe about your technology. You can actually advocate these techniques, approaches, or technology stacks because you have this influence. Also, you can inspire others to engage with technology, and it's really great. Or maybe you're also inspired by some technology, or you like it, and you can also promote that, or also promote some events, and etc. And I like this idea. So I also, as a front-end developer, and I'm developing the React application, I'm also influenced by some communities like React.js Girls, React Days, Practical Dev, and etc. So it could be, and here it could be you, for example. So I just didn't want to list the names that I'm inspired by which people. So that's why it's here. And I decided to try it too. I start blogging, I start vlogging, I start posts on my social media because I like it and I think it's really cool. So at the end, I have my personal blog where I'm posting my some posts about the front-end, about technology I have learned, or maybe some posts about the soft skills, maybe some inspirational blogs, because I really like blogging and writing, and it was some kind of the challenge for me to learn how to write proper and good posts. Another thing, I'm also active on Instagram, and I really like this application, and also inspired by other people, and it feels really cool. And this year, I also launched my YouTube channel, where actually sharing my journey, where sharing what I have learned, and I also want that people started the journey with me, especially if you are a front-end engineer and you would like to transition to full stack. And of course, you can do it too. You just need to start. If you have some ideas and you're afraid of, I think you shouldn't. You should just try and to see the result in the end. It's really cool, and you could be just inspired by that. And and it's really nice to be involved in vlogging, blogging, and advice you started to. Another, last but not least, there is also another advantage is to measure for others. So here, I mean, if you have already expertise, you are competent in many areas of development, you also can create your courses, your webinars, and help other developers to grow. So you can also be a trainer at the boot camps, and it's really cool because if you are teaching, you are also learning and considering your knowledge. And I really like this idea too. Also, you could be a good team player in your team because so people would be listen to your opinion in the team. You can also advise other team members, and at the end, in your project, you will have less work in progress because. Because you are full stack, you are helping in different side. So either for front-end or backend, and it's also a good advantage for that. And you can start your full stack journey today too. So, and I really want that you started. Actually, if you don't want to be a full stack engineer, but to know the background or how work this thing is on front-end or backend. So if you are a backend or front-end engineer, it's really nice to understand. And thank you for your attention.
Some guys in my team said the full stack engineer is a permanent middle. They said that full stack engineer is never be a senior developer. Do you agree with that? With this?
Senior developer, it's really difficult to answer because actually depending what you are doing, where you are working. Of course, you are working maybe in some product in the company. In this case, I mean, it would be better if the roles would be separated in the backend and front-end because the complexity is pretty high. But if you are working, for example, as a freelancer, you have some project with less complexity. If you're working not on the product or maybe on some websites or other things, in this case, you would be professional what you are doing, and it's really cool. I guess by the time you can, and if you are really enjoying what you are doing and you have the skills of the knowledge, you can also become a full stack engineer. I mean, but it's all depending on your time and depending on the time and depending on your wish. So as much as you wish, and of course experience. So, but in the end, so I would like to say, if you really want to pursue this goal, I mean. From 5 till 10 years, you can actually be a really good senior full stack engineer. I mean, you can actually call yourself like that. But yeah.
Okay. One more question. What stack of technologies you know?
Excuse me. What stack of technologies?
What stack of technologies? What language you know? C#, PHP.
Okay, I understand. So the question. So of course I was working on front-end side, and it would be like logical if I will start with Node.js, Express.js. I mean, like JavaScript, and it's easier to understand for me. And also our backend at work is also written on Node.js.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. No questions.
У кого-то еще есть вопросы? Давайте тогда
Another question. Yes.
Thank you. Hello, thanks for your talk and time for stupid questions. Sometimes when you develop one feature like backend for this feature and frontend, you have a boring task on one side and a lot of interesting task on another. And how do you find motivation to do like that boring stuff? Because sometimes, for example, you should write some good logic on the Node.js and write some boring styles on the front end. And how you find motivation to switch and do that boring task?
Thank you for your question. I think there are no stupid questions, there are stupid answers, so it's like this from my side. But actually, it depending on what your specialization in the team. For example, I'm also not doing all tasks on the backend because I have my front-end task. And of course, we prioritize all tasks in the team, so during the sprint planning and etc. And its decision is taken by the team. And in this case, of course, I have more tasks on front-end, but if, for example, I stuck with some task on front-end and I cannot continue with that, I could switch to the backend stuff or maybe to fix these bugs, because I'm not writing the backend, but if I need to go and to fix something on the backend, I will actually go there and do the job that I could unblock myself on the front-end. And I think it's really cool because other team members, they have their tasks, and so in this case, I can solve it on my own and don't ask my team members in this case just to switch their context and help me in this task. I mean, it works for me like that.
Thank you.
No problem. Another question? Yeah?
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for speaking. For your speech. How long are you sleeping as full stack developer every day?
I just missed the verb.
No, how long are you sleeping as full stack developer every day?
Sleeping?
No, sleep. You sleep.
You think? Sorry. So actually, I just think it's so my idea to understand. Yeah?
Do you have a free time?
Free time. Of course, I have free time. So because I'm, as I mentioned before, I'm lucky and working on the project, and I actually learn during my working time, so working hours at office, if I have some tasks. I mean, on the backend. But usually I just fix bugs on the backend side. I mean, if I have some problem with the frontend. Yeah. And also I have my side project, and I also do some researches about, so what is better to use? So for example, what's the better database to choose? It was like the last challenge for me for my side project. And yeah. Because before I didn't do these researches because I was not interested too much in the backend. I just wanted to know how it works, but not to go so deep. So, but now I have, of course, free time, and yeah, maybe because I learned a lot during my working hours at work. So maybe because of that. Yeah. Other questions?
Missed. Okay, let's say thank you about this speech.
Yeah, thank you.